Stop. Look at the man in the mirror. You see a survivor gearing up for the hunt. I see a corpse walking. You have been brainwashed by Hollywood. You think survival means motion. You picture yourself tracking elk through deep snow, rifle in hand, conquering the wild like a primitive king. That fantasy is going to kill you faster than a bullet. Here is the cold, hard reality of the post-collapse world. The moment the grid goes down, the laws of economics change. Your bank account is gone. The only currency left is the glycogen in your liver and the fat on your ribs. And right now, you are spending it like a gambling addict. Every step you take in the snow is a tax. Every shiver is a fine. You think you are being proactive? No, you are bleeding energy into a void that gives nothing back. While the action hero exhausts himself chasing shadows in the tree line, the true survivor is doing the hardest thing imaginable. Absolutely nothing. Welcome to the thermodynamics of starvation. The cold does not care about your work ethic. It only cares about your heat output. If you leave your shelter today without a guaranteed kill, you aren't hunting.
You are sabotaging your own existence by metabolism. Put the rifle down, sit down, and listen, because the math of survival is about to crush your ego. You need to understand what you are. You are not a warrior. You are a heat engine fighting the second law of thermodynamics. Even if you lie in a sleeping bag for 24 hours, staring at the ceiling, you will burn 1,500 to 2,000 calories. That is your basal metabolic rate, BMR. That is the rent you pay just to exist. Now, factor in the cold. When the ambient temperature drops, your body's thermostat kicks the furnace into overdrive. You aren't just burning fuel to keep your heart beating, you are burning it to keep your blood from turning into slush. Here is where the amateur kills himself. You feel cold, so you move to warm up. You chop wood, you patrol the perimeter, you hike through knee-deep drifts. Idiocy, pure idiocy. Moving through heavy snow increases your metabolic demand by up to 500%.
You are revving the engine to the red line while the gas tank is leaking. Let's talk about the science of shivering. This is your body's emergency protocol. It is an involuntary muscle spasm designed to generate friction heat. It works, but the cost is astronomical. Severe shivering can deplete your glycogen stores, your body's quick access battery, in a matter of hours. Once that battery is dead, you go hypothermic and you die. And the ultimate betrayal? Sweat. If you exert yourself enough to sweat in sub-zero temperatures, you have signed your death warrant. Water conducts heat 25 times faster than air. Wet clothes will suck the heat out of your core faster than you can generate it. You work hard to survive, you sweat, you freeze, you die. The equation is simple. Inputs versus outputs. If you spend 3,000 calories hiking all day to shoot a squirrel that provides 400 calories, you haven't eaten. You have starved. You have successfully accelerated your own malnutrition. You are operating at a massive caloric deficit, and there is no bailout coming. Every action must be audited. If the calorie return doesn't exceed the calorie investment by a wide margin, the correct move is to stay still. Stop burning the furniture to heat the house.
But you ignore the math. You head into the green. So you decide to play it safe. You holster the weapon and look down. You remember the survival manuals about living off the land. You start scraping away the snow, looking for cattail roots, pine bark, or frozen berries. You think you are being smart. You are actually digging your own grave with dirty fingernails. Let's talk about the caloric density of wild grains. It is pathetic. In a survival scenario, your body screams for fat and protein, dense combustible fuel. What do you give it? Water and fiber. You spend 3 hours burning 900 calories, shivering and digging through ice-crusted soil to gather a pile of roots that contains, at best, 200 calories. Do the math. You are operating at a massive loss, but it gets worse. You eat the greens. Your stomach feels full. You think, I'm fed. That is the most dangerous lie in the wild. That fullness is just volume, not fuel. Now your body has to work to process that mass. This is the thermic effect of food.
You have to chew that cold, fibrous material, warm it up to 98.6 degrees in your gut, and secrete enzymes to break it down. Here is the biology lesson the guidebook skipped. Humans are not ruminants. We cannot digest cellulose efficiently. We lack the fermentation vats that cows or deer possess. When you gorge on wild plants, you are filling your system with indigestible structural material. Your digestive system kicks into high gear, pumping blood to the stomach, burning precious energy to wring nutrients out of wood pulp. In many cases, the energy required to digest wild edibles exceeds the caloric energy extracted from them. This is net negative eating. You are literally eating yourself to death, expending your final reserves to process food that gives nothing back. You aren't surviving. You are starving with a full stomach. So you rack the slide. You want red meat. This is the hunter's gamble, a wager where the buy-in is your life. You see a trophy. I see a statistical trap. Consider the physics of the stock. Moving silently through snow isn't walking. It's isometric torture. Lifting knees high, balancing on ice, freezing mid-step. Your muscles are under constant tension. This burns glycogen at twice the rate of a march. You are burning the furniture to heat the house, betting everything on a single spin.
Then comes the buck fever. You spot movement, your heart rate spikes to 140. That is an adrenaline dump. Your body floods with cortisol. This chemical cocktail is expensive. It mobilizes precious sugar stores for a fight or flight response you aren't using. You are standing still, vibrating, burning premium fuel just to hold the rifle steady. And then you miss, or the wind shifts. Now do the accounting. You spend 4 hours trekking. You burn 1,200 calories on terrain and 300 on stress. You are down 1,500 calories with zero return. Now comes the death march back. You are chemically depleted, your sweat is freezing. You didn't just fail to profit, you went bankrupt. A failed hunt in deep winter isn't a bad day. It is a metabolic catastrophe. Nature is a casino, and the house just took everything. Stop chasing death. Make death come to you.
Smart predators don't chase, they ambush. Better yet, they build machines to ambush for them. Stop trying to be the alpha predator. Be the spider. The spider implies a web, a system of passive capture. This is the only way to beat the caloric math. You must replace biological exertion with mechanical advantage. Here is the logistics of the trapline. Scalability. You are one man. You have one set of eyes. You can only cover one sector. But a box of wire gives you 50 proxies. You can be in 50 places at once. A snare does not sleep. It does not get cold. It does not suffer from buck fever. It waits with infinite patience for a creature to make a mistake. Your goal is to turn the forest into a machine that feeds you. Identify the choke points, game trails, fence gaps, water access. Rig them with simple loops and deadfalls. You are outsourcing the labor to physics. Gravity and tension work for free. When you set a line, you are building an automated income stream of calories. When you walk that line and find a catch, you have achieved the survival impossible, a massive profit margin. You spent 50 calories to check the trap, you gained 1,000 calories of protein. That is efficient. That is sustainable.
Let the wire do the work while you conserve the fuel. The traps are set, the machine is running. Now comes the hardest part of the curriculum. Radical sedentarism. You need to kill your work ethic. Your modern brain is wired for productivity. It screams at you to fix something, to patrol, to improve. Stifle that voice. Productivity is a leak in the hull. You must mimic the masters of winter survival, the hibernators. Your goal is to enter a state of human torpor. Build a microclimate. Don't just sit in a room, build a nest within the room. Use blankets, debris, anything to reduce the volume of air your body has to heat. You are shrinking your universe down to a cubic meter. The smaller the space, the less fuel the furnace burns. Control your mind to control your heart rate. Stress, anxiety, and boredom elevate your pulse, burning glucose you cannot spare. You need to be zen. You need to be bored. Boredom is the feeling of saving your life. If you are bored, you aren't burning. Sleep as much as possible. Sleep is the ultimate energy-saving mode. When you are awake, move in slow motion. Rehearse every movement in your head before doing it to ensure it is necessary. Be a sloth. Be a stone. Wait for the wire to snap. This is the final lesson. You are no longer a person. You are a biological battery with a finite charge and no wall socket. Every decision from this second forward is a calculation. Does this action add charge or drain it? If it drains, you don't do it. The woods will be full of corpses come spring. They will be dressed in expensive camo, frozen in mid-stride. They died
because they treated survival as a sport. They thought effort equaled results. They were wrong. Survival is not a sport. It is forensic accounting. It is a ruthless audit of your own thermodynamics. Let the heroes run. Let them chase the horizon. Let them starve. You stay put. You check your lines. You eat your passive protein, and you go back to sleep. In a world of freezing entropy, the only winning move is to refuse to play. Be the battery that doesn't leak. Be the stone that doesn't roll. Survive the winter by doing absolutely nothing.